Donald Trump, the man with more court cases than homes to live in, has been making sure both the Fox News team and his lawyers don't get bored. First up in New York, it's Donald Trump versus the patron saint of our democracy, Stormy Daniels, where the former president is having a little trouble staying conscious. And according to Jesse Waters, we should all be outraged.
You're going to put a man who's almost 80 sitting in a room like this on his butt for all that time? It's not healthy. You know how big of a health nut I am. He needs sunlight, and he needs activity. He needs to be walking around. He needs action. It's really cruel and unusual punishment to make a man do that.
J-Dub, let me let you in on a little secret. Being the president is boring, okay? It's not all launching nukes and starting riots. Most of it involves sitting in a room listening to groups like the National Consortium of Rice Farmers drone on about irrigation or some shit. And if he can't stay awake for this, what makes you think he can stay awake for that for 4 years? But who knows? Maybe some protesters would liven things up. That might be why Trump has called for his followers to show up in force outside the Manhattan courthouse. But they're not really doing that. Trump is claiming that they're being purposely kept away by the evil leftists. Donny boy, is it possible, and just hear me out, that people are tired of you? That you deliver the exact same thing over and over again like a Hollywood executive rebooting Night Court, and that it's not worth standing around to hear it again? Or perhaps they couldn't get travel visas out of Russia, also possible. It's either one of those things, or just maybe, you're right. And protesters are being kept away by a Jewish space laser in a Pizzagate basement operated by aborted fetuses that are controlled by Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that sounds like the most likely explanation. Turning now to the January 6th case, where the question of Trump's presidential immunity came before the Supreme Court. The justices seemed like they were trying to weasel out of having to decide the matter because every time they decide something, people get mad at them. But if they're not ready to take action, then the states will. That's right, Arizona and Michigan both announced charges this week in the fake elector scheme in the 2020 election and named Trump as an unindicted co-conspirator. And guys, we are glad that you finally got your shit together on that, but maybe next time could we move just a smidge faster? Like, who's making decisions over there? The DMV sloth guy from Zootopia? And let us not forget the classified documents case, where a Trump co-conspirator says he was promised a pardon in exchange for doing Trump's bidding. And we should note here that promising pardons in advance is only something that you do when everyone is definitely acting legally. One other weird detail about the case, turns out the FBI have a cosmic pet name for this investigation. Plasmic Echo! The name comes from the fact that the president has been given powers by the figures beyond inspection to take his place in the pantheon of pardons. This allows the president to steal documents, stash them in his bathroom, and tell government agents to get lost. Watch as he blasts his beam while screaming the name, Plasmic Echo! The Secret Service has been planning what to do when Donald Trump eventually goes to jail, either for his many crimes, for his constant violations of gag orders, or for new crimes he just thought up, or maybe all of those. The basic plan is simple. 1, assure Trump's safe passage to the prison facility. 2, hand him over to the prison officials. 3, kegger. And 4, see if the dry cleaner can get all those orange stains out of their suits. Sometimes I get tired of hoping Trump goes to jail. He'll probably just be out in 3 turns anyway, or sooner if he rolls doubles. Tensions have been rising on college campuses as pro-Palestinian protests have appeared nationwide. Officials have become increasingly mad at students for things like sitting in a tent and not wanting people to be slaughtered. Pretty sure Neil Young has a song about that sort of thing. Here in Austin, Governor Greg Free Speech on Campus Abbott sent in hundreds of state troopers to UT. Students responded to the appearance of DPS by reminding them about a time where they didn't all show up.
Who found the money? DPS! Who found the money? DPS!
That one's got to be in the top 5 ultimate go fuck yourselves chants. Abbott says that he sent the officers to ensure that the only thing that will follow students throughout their entire educational career will be guns pointed at them. Let's turn now to a lighter subject, women's rights. Oh, right. The Supreme Court heard a case this week from Idaho, and here's the deal. In Idaho, if you're pregnant, you can get an abortion if you're about to die. But if your pregnancy is going to kill you eventually, but just hasn't started killing you yet, then doctors in the ER can be like,
It's a no for me, dog.
so Idaho wants you to wait until you're like super duper dying, whereas women, or baby holsters as they're known in Idaho, would like to not have to see their dead relatives in a shimmering halo of light before getting what they need. So what we have now is doctors in Idaho being too afraid to treat pregnant women, or women taking it upon themselves to travel hours out of state in order to get the care they need to not eventually die. Now, instead of gambling on whether you're sick enough to be seen by a doctor or spending hours in the car being distracted by Idaho's wonderful roadside attractions like Big Potato, Potato Museum, or Collapse Dam, we have a suggestion: motherfucking robot dog. Ladies, are you tired of going to the ER for care only to be told you're not dying hard enough to get it? Introducing the Therminator, a flame-throwing robot dog that'll get you to the brink of death quickly and efficiently so you can get the treatment you need. It can be easily stored next to your unsecured loaded handguns and your tank. Who wants to spend time traveling out of state to get healthcare when you can get maimed by a mechanical hellhound and be seen by a doctor all in the same day? And as a bonus, you get a motherfucking robot dog.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
More like, I am become Flames, guarantor of healthcare. But if the flames aren't your thing, the Therminator does come with a laser option. The Therminator is on sale now for less than 10 grand, so if you need to speed things up at the ER, get yours today. If that doesn't work, just say your fetus was holding a Palestinian flag on the ultrasound, and there'll be no shortage of people ready to take care of that for you. Not covered by women's health insurance, but free to all male customers. No background check required. Senator Ted Cruz has launched Democrats for Ted Cruz, insisting that there are Democrats that actually like him. Let's go live now to the Democrats for Ted Cruz kickoff meeting. Okay, looks like no one's there yet. Let's go live instead then to the Ted Cruz fan club. That should have more people. Huh, weird. Okay, let's go to Ted Cruz's family reunion. Those guys love him, right? Well, that's weird. I mean, we all know that Ted Cruz is so likable. Wonder what's going on. Pop icon and aviation enthusiast Taylor Swift released a new album, and Paste magazine was scared to put their columnist's name on the album review. Well, we listened to the album, and that is quite literally all we're saying about that. Please don't hurt my family. A Canadian family suffered dual tragedies as the body of their father, who had died while on vacation in Cuba, was not returned. Instead, the family received the remains of a different, unknown man. The Canadian family has already apologized. Researchers have presented their latest invention, the Pillbot. It's a multivitamin-sized robot that you swallow like a magic school bus, and then doctors can drive it around inside you and gather all sorts of video, pictures, and data. The internal medicine community is very excited for this technology, but not half as excited as the porn industry, who just gained a whole new angle on the money shot. A biologist has recently communicated with an octopus in the wild. The scientists hope that one day she can build her own suit of octopus arms so she can finally take on Spider-Man. Scientists have studied fruit flies as they run on a teeny tiny treadmill. They hope the experiment would shed light on how the central nervous system of the flies works, which is something we all have had a lot of questions about. But the experiments raised a question that scientists had never known to ask. Where the heck did the flies get those tiny running shoes? And finally tonight, Mexico's president has signed into law protections for the 19 feral cats that live at the National Palace. The cats are thrilled and can't wait to show their buttholes to the camera during Zoom meetings. Oh, wow, that's nice. Anyways, see you next week for more Horrors Beyond Comprehension. Love you. Bye.